the ONCE Foundation. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for being here today in this conference that in principle was about domotics, robotics and teleassistance for everyone. And this is its 4th edition. We've managed to consolidate this conference, and so we decided to change its name. And now we continue with the acronym, but now it's going to be a forum for technology for all. But it's still for all. This conference on technology for all, I would like to say that this is the conference of the most important conference on technology for all at a European level. There are some forums, such as, for instance, assisted living, which is a forum for the exchange of information and knowledge, which is very important. But this conference, I would dare say, without thinking that I'm being too arrogant, that it is the conference that brings together the most important experts, researchers, technologists, and companies, and public authorities and universities that work the most on the development of technology for all. The objective is to organize this meeting so that everyone that has something to say about this, including the users, of course, are a very important group in the development of this technology, and which sometimes are not taken into account when developing. And without us being involved in all the design processes, it would not be as good. So I would like to say this is a form of exchange of knowledge. So Alberto and I have just signed a cooperation agreement with the Spanish Association of Hospitality Companies, and it is the most important forum of exchange of knowledge with the bars of our country. So it's important to have a forum of exchange of knowledge with professional associations such as this. I would like to present the table here. First of all, I've got on my right Juan Junquera, who is the Secretary of State for Telecommunications. On his right is Alberto Duran, the Vice President of the ONCE Foundation, and on the far right, the table, we've got Eduard Punset, which I'm sure you all know very well. So now I'll give first the floor to Alberto Duran, who, as I said, is the Vice President of the ONCE Foundation. Thank you very much, Jesus. Good morning. Thank you to all the participants of this 4th conference on robotics, domotics and teleassistance that has been renewed and updated. As Jesus said, thank you very much to the Secretary of State for Technologies for being here with us today and for being present in this window that we open every 2 years at the disposal of everyone, so that we can disseminate knowledge about accessible technologies. And thank you very much, Edward, for being here today, for all your collaboration and for your work of dissemination and making everyone think about the need for the technologies and the need to think, because thinking is necessary. We inaugurate this 4th conference of conference that has been adapted, tries to be adapted to the changing situations, which will never happen in such a changing environments as in the one that we live in today. An evolution that from these working groups that we found in the first meetings on robotics, domotics and teleassistance have evolved, and now we are reflecting on robotics that it's more for the masses, less elitists, less for very specific uses, and more for the improvement of the conditions of life of everyone. Of all the people with disabilities that need support, and this technological support make it possible because the costs make it possible and visible. We are also looking at the technologies of support, transport, interface between the people and the machine, which is also especially for these people that need help, that need assistance, and that that assistance must be at the disposal of the people so that people can handle them themselves, so that it is their will and their capabilities that allow them to use them and to gain greater independence. So that's what the treaties allow, for greater independence. In this 4th edition, we are humbly breaking records, because when we open this window for the reflection on the technology, accessible technology, every 2 years we organize such a conference, but of course it all has a lot of records. We've had over 91 works presented, 300 people that have attended the conference, a scientific committee that is getting bigger and bigger, also more than the presence of 9 countries. And little by little we are setting up all these milestones that make sure that technology is improved. We are still concerned about the same things that we were concerned about when we first set up this conference in its 1st edition. But maybe we're even more concerned today about education. How education can be, without bad faith, but how it can create barriers, obstacles that really leave their footprint forever in the people that are educated in non-inclusive environments. This is something that concerns us, and that today, for instance, we're still very concerned on the lack of accessibility in the tools, software and hardware, but also about the lack of accessibility in context, and especially in those environments where the contents are very devoted to the masses, such as the internet and social networks. Also, it is in this that we have our great hope, however, because we know that common sense will make these environments become more inclusive. The educational environment, the tools, there's possibilities, there's technological developments. If the design is done properly from the beginning, this allows to be accessible. Also the contents, the hope that they'll continue being accessible, that may lead to a generalization of knowledge, a generalization of a way of life that is much more comfortable, much more integrating for the people with disabilities, people that, if they have accessible contents, accessible tools, can really develop themselves as people. And I would like to end by thanking the sponsors, Vodafone Foundation, Casadomo. Also, I would like to thank all the participants, the growing number of participants and speakers. I would like to also thank them all. We will have them here over the next 3 days. I would like to thank also Mr. Eduard Punset for being here with us today and for his inaugural speech. And also I would like to thank the Secretary of State for Telecommunications for being here with us. Thank you very much. Many thanks, Alberto. Now I'll give the floor to Juan Junquera, Secretary of State for Telecommunications. And when he was appointed Secretary of State, we were very happy for him. But for a minute, we thought that if he would be further away from us, that he wouldn't be as close to us as he used to be. But the truth is that that did not happen, and he's still as close to us as when he was the General Director. And even though we asked him to come with not much time, so not much notice, when taking into consideration that he's a Secretary of State, but nevertheless, he has shown that he has a lot of affection for us, and he has made a little time to be here today. And as soon as he finishes, he'll have to leave because of his agenda problems. But thank you very much for being here. So thank you, Juan, for